The best pay-per-view of the year so far is going to be tomorrow night, UFC 314 breakdown and prediction. I'm going to be going through the entire card, starting with the early prelim, ending with the main event. We're going to be breaking down every single fight on this card. Before we go ahead and get into it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's start it off with the early prelim opener of Nora Cornell versus Haley Cohen. Starts off this pay-per-view. Not a horrible fight, honestly. Not a terrible fight. We haven't seen Haley Cohen in a couple of years, so we don't really know how she's going to look. She did make weight. Nora Cornell did not make weight initially, and she had to, I don't know if she had to cut her hair or if she had to go back into the back. She had about an hour left, and then she had to cut off an extra 2 pounds, an extra 1 or 2 pounds. She struggled pretty heavily, but she did make weight. Nora Cornell is quite big for this division. So is Haley Cohen, to be fair. Cohen is kind of a physical specimen for bantamweight at least, but Nora Cornell is powerful. She's in the octagon. She's fierce. She has the MMA skills that I don't think Haley Cohen has in this matchup. Honestly, Haley Cohen is very physical. She's good. She's very athletic, but she's not the best MMA fighter. I think when you look at the MMA side of this fight, Nora Cornell outpieces her in everything: striking, her ground game, her submission game, her knockout power. Nora Cornell, most of her fights end by knockout. I believe 70% of her fights end by knockout. She gets a lot of finishes. She's gotten one in the UFC. She went to a decision with Jocelyn, I believe, and it was a solid win. She's gotten some solid wins. She just lost to Cavalcanti, but we've seen Cavalcanti is good. She's good in the rankings so far. She's been good in bantamweight. She's been scraping by with her decisions, but she is a long, lengthy striker, which Haley Cohen is not. I think Nora Cornell is not going to have trouble closing the distance, getting past that void, breaking that void, and landing on Haley Cohen. Cohen is good on the ground. She can mix in some wrestling, but I think on the submission side, I think Nora Cornell is going to have all the better submission game. I think she could find a choke in this fight, maybe find some ground and pound TKO. I think this one actually ends inside the distance. We haven't seen Haley Cohen in a couple of years. There's going to be some ring rust there. Nora Cornell can take advantage of that if she goes out there early, pieces her up, puts everything on the line in that first round. I think she can get her out of there in the first or second round. I'm going to go Nora Cornell by submission. Honestly, I think she's going to pull off a submission. Initially, I thought she was going to go and get a decision, but the more I'm looking into this fight, the more I'm thinking, obviously, there is a bit of an age difference. Nora is the older fighter, but she's the bigger woman. She's got the better MMA skills, and that's what it really comes down to. I don't think Haley Cohen's MMA skills, her pure MMA, her grappling, her striking, her wrestling is as good as Nora Cornell. I think if it does go to the ground, Nora finds a submission in round 2. So I'm going to go Nora Cornell to get it done in round 2 by submission, maybe a TKO ground and pound, but I trust her to get it done. We move on, though, to the next fight, Trishan Gore versus Marco Tulio. This fight's interesting. Trishan Gore, obviously, he is 2-2 in the UFC. He's coming off back-to-back submission wins. That guillotine is good. That guillotine's very good. Trishan Gore's guillotine is very clean. It's tight. It's tight. It's a good choke. He pulls it off very fluidly. Even standing guillotine. He just got that standing guillotine over Bruno Silva, I believe. Now he's fighting Marco Tulio, though. Tulio is a huge favorite in this fight for a reason. He's with Shoot the Box. He's a solid striker, and he can bring it to the ground as well. Marco Tulio's big in this division. These guys are the same height, same age, same reach. Like, everything is about the same with these guys, so it's a very kind of mirror matchup, but they both have different tools that they can take advantage of. Trishan Gore, we haven't really seen his striking. He did get knocked out by Cody Brundage, which is not a great look, but Brundage does pull off those awkward knockouts from time to time, but that did not age very well, right? I mean, Brundage did just come off a win, but still, it's not a great loss. But Trishan Gore is on a winning streak right now, back-to-back wins. I just don't see him pulling off a submission, though, a fluke submission over Marco Tulio. I don't see him wrapping that guillotine or wrapping a rear naked or something around Tulio to really... It just matters if he can get him to the ground. I don't see Trishan Gore getting him to the ground or finding a standing guillotine unless Marco Tulio's game plan is bad and he goes for a takedown. But I don't see that happening. I'm going to go Marco Tulio. Tulio is good on the outside. He can also crash in. He can land heavy shots. He's got big, solid punches down the middle. He can land on your body. He mixes it up very well in his contender fight. He mixed it up. I think it was a straight right down the pipe, connected, and then he spinning back kick in his Dana White Contender Series fight, got the contract, man. I think Marco Tulio gets this one done. I think he finishes Trishan Gore in round 2. I'm going to go Marco Tulio by round 2 KO. I think he gets it done. Trishan Gore is losing to Cody Brundage. If he is giving an opening to Marco Tulio, Tulio is going to take advantage of that. He's going to be the more physically demanding guy, and he is going to come on to Trishan Gore and just lay it on him. I'm going to go Marco Tulio round 2 KO. I think he lands a solid shot straight down the pipe, drops Gore, and then lands some ground and pound. I'm going to go Marco Tulio round 2 to TKO. We move on, though. Sumadorji versus Mitch Raposo. This is honestly one of the trickier fights to pick on this card because I know I see a lot of guys going Mitch Raposo. I do see a lot of guys going Mitch Raposo, but I honestly do not trust I do not trust his camp. I do not trust his gym, man. I don't trust any of those New England cartel guys. I mean, I know Sumadorji's coming off of a few losses, but you gotta play into part Sumadorji's competition that he's been facing. He's been facing guys that are ranked. These ranked guys, obviously the loss to what's his name? Oh my goodness, the guy that gets chinned by everybody. That loss was not good. We know you guys know who I'm talking about. That loss was not good. But he's fighting Mitch Raposo. This is a fight way down in competition. He took some time off. This is going to be a striking matchup. Both these guys are susceptible on the ground. We know almost all of Sumadorji's losses come by submission. I mean, he got submitted back-to-back, just lost to Johnson, which is not a bad loss, but, he's fought some tough competition. He's had some time off. Obviously, a lot of people are siding with Mitch Raposo. I'm standing my ground with Sumadorji. I think Sumadorji gets it done on the scorecards. Lengthier, better reach. His fundamental boxing is very good. Mitch Raposo is not a bad boxer himself, but he's going to have a big height disadvantage, a big reach disadvantage. I don't think he's going to be able to crash in and land those shots that he needs to on Sumadorji. Mitch Raposo's boxing is clean. Those New England cartels boxing is very clean. Calvin Kattar, Rob Font, they have good boxing, but if they can't close the distance, like we saw against Calvin Kattar and Yusuf Zalal recently, if they can't close the distance, they can't get that boxing off. They can't win that fight. And that's what Mitch Raposo is not going to be able to do. I don't think he's going to be able to close that distance on Sumadorji. Madorji can make it dirty, and it really comes down to his fight IQ. If he stands in the pocket and starts swinging with Mitch Raposo, he could definitely get chinned. But I think Sumadorji has a good enough chin, and he has the better reach, the better striking, the better fundamental striking, that he's going to get this one done on the scorecards. I'm going to go Sumadorji by close decision, but I think he's just going to outstrike Mitch Raposo for 3 rounds. I don't think Mitch Raposo is going to be able to get in on the inside and deal the damage that he wants to deal. So I'm going Sumadorji by decision. It'll be close, though, boys. It'll be close. Moving on, though, Cedric Dumas versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. This is a close fight. A lot of people are picking Mikhail. I get it. He does have really, really good boxing. He's got power in his hands. Dropped Kevin Holland in their fight, got subbed, obviously. His danger is being subbed, and Cedric Dumas does have some submissions in his game. But, I mean, it's going to be close. It's really going to depend if Mikhail can make this one dirty, get out in the first round, and just start swinging. He needs to swing. Right? So, if Mikhail comes out, he starts swinging bombs, and he connects on Cedric Dumas, he could definitely drop him and finish him. But Cedric is not chinny, honestly. A lot of people are thinking that, he's going to get chinned round 1. I don't see him getting chinned round 1. Cedric Dumas lost to Nursultan Ruziboev not that long ago, but that was an injury. He was injured. I believe he got hit somewhere, and I don't know if he broke something or fractured something. It was some sort of injury, made him drop down, and then Nursultan Ruziboev finished him on the ground with some ground and pound. But Cedric Dumas is tough. He's very tough, not easy to chin. This guy's got good wrestling as well. He's going to be in your face the whole fight. He's going to play a smart fight, and I think he could do that in this fight against Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, unless Oleksiejczuk comes out throwing bombs, like I said, unless he gets him out in round 1 or round 2, I think he's going to lose a decision. So I'm going to go Cedric Dumas by decision, honestly. Too many people are riding with Mikhail. I know he fought and he trained with the Fighting Nerds. That's a great group to train with, but it doesn't change the fact that he's not one of the 4 Fighting Nerds, right? You got to be one of the 4 guys. You got to be either Jean Silva, Carlos Prates, Mauricio Rufy, or you've got to be, oh my goodness, I'm always mixing up names, man. Or you have to be, how do I not know his name right now? Holy. I'd be slipping up on the names. You know who I'm talking about. The main man of the Fighting Nerds, the guy who basically started the Fighting Nerds in middleweight. You know who I'm talking about. But that's not Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. He's not one of those Fighting Nerds. He doesn't have those amazing fundamentals that they do. I'm sure he's improved, but I think he's the smaller guy. I think he's a guy who can get taken down. He can get kind of dominated on the ground. I think Cedric Dumas, if he plays it smart, he plays it safe, which he does. He's not coming out there. He's not throwing hands like crazy. He's got a bigger reach, a way bigger reach than Mikhail. He can keep him at bay. He can take it to the ground. He can look for a submission, and he can tire out Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. So if Cedric Dumas tires him out, tries to make this fight go the distance, I think he wins on the scorecard. So I'm going to go Cedric Dumas by decision, maybe a late submission, but I think he's going to get the decision. We move on, though, to the main prelims. We've got Darren the Damage Elkins versus Julian Erosa. This is a solid fight. This just screams fight of the night. Honestly, this screams fight of the night. If I had to put my money on a fight of the night, this could potentially be it. I see this one being real bloody. Darren Elkins' last fight was really bloody. There's a reason he wears the damage on his chest because he takes damage. He takes a lot and a lot of damage. He's 40 years old now. He's fighting Julian Erosa, who's been a gatekeeper of the featherweight division his entire career. He's literally Sean Woodson's only loss. He's just shut down a couple of these prospects back to back. He's on back to back submissions now. Just subbed Christian Rodriguez. That's a great win. He's on back to back submissions. I think he gets it done in this fight. I do like Darren Elkins as an underdog. I think he can grind out fights. He had a good fight in his last one against Daniel Pineda, but the problem is he just eats and he wears a lot of damage. He does wear damage on his chest. Literally, that tattoo, man. It's a perfect representation of him. He's going to make it dirty. He's going to make it nasty. I think that's the only way he wins this fight, but Julian Erosa does not back off. He comes at you the entire 15 minutes. He pushes the pace. Even if he's losing a fight, he'll keep coming at you. So this one does scream war and blood, and it's going to be a fight of the night, but I do think Julian Erosa will find the finish. I think he's going to find a choke at some point in this fight. Darren Elkins was almost choked out by Daniel Pineda, but Daniel Pineda's submission game is not that good, honestly. We know he's not really UFC caliber. Darren Elkins' back-to-back wins have not been against the best guys. And I think Julian Erosa is still there. He's still good, and he beats a guy in Darren Elkins 10. He beats him 9 out of 10 times. All right, so I'm gonna go Julian Erosa by submission in round 1 or round 2. I think he finds a choke on Darren Elkins relatively easy, but I think it will be a scrap until he finds that choke. I think he's gonna end up in a scramble, turn around, switching around in the scramble, and then he's just gonna wrap up either a guillotine or a Darce choke in the scramble, and Darren Elkins is gonna tap. He might actually go to sleep. I'm calling Darren Elkins goes to sleep from a Darce choke by Julian Erosa. We move on, though. Jim Miller versus Chase Hooper. We got back-to-back UNC fights, man. I'm hyped for these fights back-to-back. Jim Miller, 41 years old, got the most fights in UFC history, I believe. I think he's got the most fights in UFC history, or lightweight now. This guy's been around for ages, been around for UFC 100, UFC 200, and now UFC 300. He's going to be there for UFC 400, I guarantee it. This dude's always going to be here. He is on a he's riding off of a win over Damon Jackson, retired him. I'm not going to lie, I was shocked that he beat Damon Jackson. I know Jackson's not that level, but Jim Miller's still there, man. 41 years old at lightweight, but he's facing Chase Hooper, future Charles Oliveira. All right, this dude he's literally riding the future record that Charles Oliveira had. I mean, if he beats Jim Miller like Charles beat Jim Miller, I think it's going to be the exact same outcome. I think Chase Hooper is the next Charles Oliveira at lightweight. He's growing into his body. He's becoming more of a man. He's filling out. He's finally filling out a bit. A lot of people have been saying that. I totally agree with that. He's only 25 years old. His submission game is amazing. I think he's got the best BJJ, one of the best BJJs in lightweight right now. And I think he submits Jim Miller with relative ease. I know a lot of people are like, Jim Miller's really tough. He's tough to submit. He is really difficult to get out of there. I mean, Bobby Green had him really brutally injured, was almost getting him out of there round 3, had him rocked, but I don't think Chase Hooper is going to knock out Jim Miller. I don't see it happening. Jim Miller's just too tough, even at 41 years old. His chin is still there, but his neck is not really there. I think he will give up a choke to Chase Hooper in round 2. I believe round 1 will be a scrap back and forth. I think Jim Miller, if it ends up in a scramble, he could get top position, land some nice shots, but I trust Chase Hooper to scramble out. He never stops moving. He's always rolling with it, right? I mean, he dropped Slava Claus, finished him on the ground. Nobody expected that. Just subbed, what's his name? Just sub the old man. You know who I'm talking about. He's gonna be subbing these dudes every day of the week. I think he subs Jim Miller relatively easily. Jim Miller does have good ground game, but I just think Chase Hooper's levels above. I don't know. I'm gonna have to see how this one goes. It's not worth betting. I mean, Chase Hooper's a huge favorite, minus 800. He should be minus 1,500. He gets this one done. Not even needing the scorecards by submission. Round 1 or round 2, I'm going Chase Hooper to get it done. We move on though. Yan Xiaonan versus Verna Jandiroba. The only other women's fight on this card. Solid fight, though. Yan Xiaonan, she's been there. She's been there. She just fought Zhang Weili 2 fights ago. Just fought Tabitha Ritchie. Shut her down. Easy work. Tabitha Ritchie didn't have shit going in that fight. I mean, Yan Xiaonan just looked amazing in that fight in Macau. And she's fighting Verna Jandiroba, who is riding off of a solid win streak right now. She's only lost a few times in the UFC. And she just seems to keep getting better and better and better. She's riding off that submission win over Amanda Lemos in the Apex. There's beautiful armbar, super nice transition by her. Ground game is really good. Her BJJ is really good. And this one comes down to if Verna Jandiroba can get Yan Xiaonan to the ground and if Yan Xiaonan can survive on the ground, because we've seen her. She almost got choked out by Zhang Weili. She did get choked out by Zhang Weili, was completely unconscious. The round ended. Her coaches had to wake her up. They were throwing water on her face. We're waking her up. in between rounds, she was completely unconscious. I mean, Yan Xiaonan's tough. She's very, very tough, but I do see this one ending up with Verna Jandiroba on her back, hugging her back, just holding on to her. I think it's going to be really close. From a betting standpoint, you want to bet the over. I think it's going to be a decision, but it's going to be a very close decision. I could see this one being a split. I'm going to lean Verna Jandiroba, but I am going to be hoping Yan Xiaonan gets this one done. And betting wise, I mean, I picked her as an underdog. I think she's a solid underdog to play this week. I think she could get it done because it might be a split decision. So I'm going to go Verna Jandiroba, but it's going to be close. Maybe don't put the money on it, honestly. A fight like this, it's like it's high level women's MMA, but it could be a really boring fight as well if Verna just holds on to her on the ground for 15 minutes. So we'll see how this one plays out. But I'm gonna go Verna Jandiroba by decision. Her ground game is just really good. She's good at holding you down. She's good at threatening submissions, rear naked choke, armbar, triangles. Like she does have a really, really good BJJ. And Yan Xiaonan has shown that she's weak on the ground. If she can keep it on the feet, she does win this fight, but I just don't see it happening. So I'm going to go Verna Jandiroba by decision. We move on, though, to the feature fight of the prelims. Dan Ige versus Sean Woodson. This is a very interesting matchup because I'm like, it's tough to pick one of them. Honestly, it is really tough to pick one of them. I want Dan Ige to win, but I do see Sean Woodson getting this one done. Dan Ige is always there. He's powerful. I rewatched the Evloev fight today, honestly, and Dan Ige, he's still young. He's still good. He's got a lot of power in his hands. He can throw bombs, but he is susceptible to straight shots down the pipe. Closing the distance is quite hard for him. And against 6'2", Sean Woodson with a 18 centimeter reach on Dan Ige, it's going to be really tough. It's going to be really, really tough. I mean, Sean Woodson's only losses to Julian Erosa, like I said before, and that was because he got caught in a standing Darce choke and got brought to the ground in round 3 after he was tired. But Sean Woodson's cardio's gotten better. His boxing, his dirty boxing is so good. This guy, people don't know. People forget, man. He used to be a boxer, transitioned to MMA, liked the kicking. He's cut down a lot of weight. Used to be a heavyweight, cut down now to featherweight. Weird build. Probably the weirdest build in featherweight, but it works. His takedown defense is great. His takedown defense is so good. And he's able to keep it on the feet, and he's able to strike with you. It's tough to break that void and land really, really strong, powerful shots on him. So I think Dan Ige could find a shot like that, but I don't think he's going to close the distance. I'm going to go Sean Woodson by decision. His striking's too good. Honestly, his straight shots down the pipe are too good. He's mixing it up with kicks now more recently. Dan Ige's bag is just, his tools are not as good. He's had some unlucky fights recently. Fought Lerone Murphy, dropped him, but they had about the same build. They're about the same build, and he caught him with a nice shot. Wasn't able to finish that fight. He used to have a lot of power. I don't think he has that same power going into this one. I think he slowed down a bit. Obviously took that short notice fight against Diego Lopez, the man in the main event. So respected Dan Ige. Always respected Dan Ige. I think he's always going to be a fun featherweight. And he does beat these bums outside the rankings, but I don't think Sean Woodson's a bum. Honestly, I do think Sean Woodson gets this one done by decision. But it will be close. It'll be interesting to see if Dan Ige can close the distance. But I'm going to go Sean Woodson by 29-28, unanimous decision. He gets it done. He gets into the rankings. And we'll see how Sean Woodson does against some higher-ranked opponents, man. We will move on, though, to the main card. We open it up. Nikita Krylov versus Dominic Reyes. This fight I'm going back and forth with, man. It's really tough because I want to pick Dominic Reyes so bad. I think everybody wants to pick Dominic Reyes. You want to see this guy win. I mean, he's such a nice guy. Beat John Jones. Only guy that beat John Jones, all right, in the UFC. Beat John Jones. After that, obviously had a terrible downfall. 4-fight losing streak. Got knocked out back to back to back. Unlucky, unfortunate, but he's on a back-to-back 2-fight knockout win streak. But he did beat some bums. Beat Jacoby, what's his name? Yeah, Jacoby, and then he beat Anthony Smith. Look, it's tough to rate those fights because Jacoby's not a very good fighter at light heavyweight. He's got a lot of holes in his game, and obviously Anthony Smith just wanted to be knocked out. He made an interview. He was on an interview, said he wanted to be knocked out in that fight, said he wanted to be beat down in that fight because his coach had just passed away. Rest in peace to him. But Dominic Reyes just beat down on Anthony Smith. He should have finished him in round 1, to be honest. Should have gotten him out of there right away. But I think Nikita Krylov's a more well-rounded guy. This guy is super underrated at light heavyweight. His bag is massive. His tools are amazing. He can bring it to the ground. He can stand with you. He comes at you nonstop. This guy's cardio is amazing. His striking is really, really good. Very underrated. I mean, Nikita Krylov might be the most underrated. One of the dark horses of the light heavyweight division. One of the less respected guys at light heavyweight. Obviously, he took a couple of years off. He had a surgery, so it is questionable to see how he'll look, but he looks in shape, made weight, looks really big as usual. And I mean, he's taking that time off, but he always looks good when he takes time off. He always has a lot of time in between his fights. Would be nice to see him more active, but I think he gets it done in this fight. I think he's going to finish Dominic Reyes. Dominic Reyes just, he's aging. He's aging, unfortunately, and he's only fought some bad competition since being back. I don't think he's ready for Nikita Krylov. Unfortunately, Krylov is he's just really well versed in every aspect of MMA, every aspect. And obviously, Dominic Reyes got a beautiful left hook, a check left hook, but I don't think he lands it on Krylov. Krylov's not chinny. He can get sub, but Dominic Reyes is not going to sub him, and I don't think Krylov's going to sub Reyes. Reyes never been sub, so I'm going to go Nikita Krylov, round 1 or round 2 TKO. He gets it done with some body shots, drops Dominic Reyes, finishes him on the ground, or maybe a right hook, checks him, checks his chin, drops him on against the fence. It sucks because I want Reyes to win, but I got to go Krylov, boys. We move on, though, to the next fight. Well, we got Bryce Mitchell versus Jean Silva. This is the people's main event. We know this is the people's main event. This fight is so exciting. Bryce Mitchell's made this one just deeper than fighting. He's made it deeper than MMA. This comes down to the devil and the God and the devil and all sorts of stuff. He's made it super religious. He's made it super personal. And that's the problem, man. The problem, he's made it super personal. He's gone really emotional. And when you let emotions take over you in MMA, especially when you're fighting somebody like Jean Silva, it just gets the best of you. It does. It really does. When you let emotions just take over in a fight, it doesn't work, right? It lets you get susceptible. It makes you take risks. It makes you overthink things, and I think he's going to do that against Jean Silva. Unfortunately, I do want Bryce to win. I'm going to be rooting for Bryce to win. I hope he gets a submission. I hope he gets a decision. And, he's been talking mad shit, and I respect it. Bryce has been defending himself. He's been really tough in the lead up to this fight. I mean, all of his commentary, everything he's been saying has just been a different level of Bryce. He's super fit, looks really good, super motivated in this fight. I just feel like his chin is going to get clipped. 15 minutes, Jean Silva is going to find that shot. He knocked out Drew Dober at lightweight. I'm sorry, but it's just Jean Silva is going to find that shot, even if he's not finding success. He got taken down by Jourdain. That's what everybody's saying. He got taken down by Jourdain. But it doesn't matter because he found that shot, right? It doesn't matter if Bryce Mitchell takes him down round 1, round 2. If he finds that shot, that right hook, that straight right down the pipe, that uppercut, it doesn't matter if he finds that in the third round and he finishes Bryce Mitchell, even if Mitchell won the first 2 rounds. And I mean, Jean Silva barely made weight. He barely made weight. But when he made weight, he was cussing out Bryce Mitchell. He keeps saying, Bryce Mitchell, Bryce Mitchell. Like, I can't see a world where Bryce Mitchell wins this fight, unfortunately, man. I'm going to be rooting for Bryce every day. Every day of the week, I'm rooting for Bryce for this one. But I got to go Jean Silva, boys. I got to go Jean Silva. TKO, round 2. Drops him with a right hook. Finishes him on the ground. He's going to stare at him, finish him on the ground, and then he's going to just start barking at him. I can just see it, man. And Bryce Mitchell, he's going to be really, really broken after this fight. I can feel it, unfortunately. So I'm going Jean Silva. Also, Bryce Mitchell said bet the farm on him. You know how it goes when people say bet the house. It didn't work out last weekend when what's his name? Oh my goodness. When Josh Emmett said bet the house on me, it didn't work out. So can't trust bet the house on Bryce Mitchell, bet the farm on Bryce Mitchell. Don't do it, man. I'm going Jean Silva knockout, round 2. We move on to the feature fight. Yair Rodriguez, Patricio Pitbull. I'm honestly not too excited for this fight. I mean, it's exciting to see Patricio Pitbull in the UFC. It's just too late. 37 years old. He's still great. He's probably one of the Bellator GOATs. Defended the belt as many times as you could think. He fought for the belt as many times as you could think. Knocked out Michael Chandler, the guy in the co-main event. Knocked out Michael Chandler in Bellator. Excuse me. But he's fighting Yair Rodriguez. And Rodriguez is fresh. He looks like he's juiced up, man. He's training with Bilal. He looks like he's off all the juices, man. I think he is going to beat Patricio Pitbull. I think it's going to be a brutal decision. I think he's going to break him down with kicks. Patricio's not going to be able to get in the range of Yair Rodriguez and land those shots, kind of like the Sean Woodson versus Dan Ige fight. I think he's going to play out the same. Yair Rodriguez kicks him at range, lands those straight shots down the pipe. Patricio isn't able to close the distance like he's able to against a guy like Michael Chandler, who's the same build, same stocky build as him. He's not going to be able to do that against Rodriguez unless he really gets in close, gets a takedown on Rodriguez and lands ground and pound. I don't see him winning this fight. So I'm going to go Rodriguez by decision. His striking's better. He's bigger. He's just lengthier in this division. I think he finds those shots on Patricio Pitbull, but Patricio Pitbull is very tough. I don't think he's going to get knocked out by Rodriguez unless Rodriguez clips him with a head kick. but I'm going to go Rodriguez by 29-28 unanimous decision. We move on to the main event, Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett. This is one of my favorite fights on the card. I'm super duper excited for this one. Michael Chandler, I don't understand why people are always riding with Michael Chandler because I think this dude's cooked. I think he's cooked. All right. I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but Michael Chandler, 2-6 in the 2-4 in the UFC. Excuse me, 2-4 in the UFC. Lost to Charles Oliveira twice. Lost to Dustin Poirier. Lost to Justin Gaethje. All right. People are gonna say, "Oh, he's lost to the best of the best." He beats guys like Tony Ferguson and Dan Hooker. Like, okay, sure, but that's an aging Tony Ferguson coming out of his prime. He's out of his prime. And Dan Hooker as well. That was Michael Chandler in his prime, coming straight from Bellator. Pushed him up against the fence, landed that nice hook. Very nice, but he didn't even fully sleep Dan Hooker, right? Hooker was still conscious. I don't see Michael Chandler landing that overhand right and knocking Paddy Pimblett out cold. And Paddy said, like multiple times, the only way that Michael Chandler wins this fight is if he lands an overhand right that puts him out. There's no other way. There's zero other chance that Michael Chandler wins this fight. And that just leaves so many openings for Paddy to win this fight. I think Paddy will get it to the ground. I think he'll get it to the ground. I think his boxing has been super improved. He's super motivated in this one. When he cuts his weight, he looks massive in there. He looks massive. He's going to be way bigger than Michael Chandler. He's got the reach advantage. He has the height advantage. His age, I mean, you look at the age, how many lightweights at 38 years old are still winning and competing besides Jim Miller? Besides Jim Miller, there's not that many lightweights competing at 38 years old, still doing super well at the highest level. And Michael Chandler's at the highest level still, but he just loses. He just knows how to lose. He might win round one and then lose the four next rounds. You never know how Michael Chandler's going to come out in a fight. He's either going to come guns blazing or he's going to have a tactical fight like he tried against Charles Oliveira. Still got dominated. He had to cheat. The only way he wins this is if he cheats or he lands a beautiful right hook, puts Paddy Pimblett to sleep. But I'm sorry to say it, boys, but Scousers don't get knocked out. They don't get knocked out. All right? Paddy Pimblett's not getting knocked out. There's no chance. There's no chance. Knock on wood, but there's no chance. I'm going Paddy Pimblett by submission. Round 2, round 3. Michael Chandler fucks up. He drops to the ground. Paddy Pimblett gets to his back, finds a rear naked choke. Oliveira couldn't find the finish. Oliveira couldn't choke him out. It doesn't matter if Oliveira couldn't choke him out, okay? Oliveira was playing it very safe in that fight. And I'm glad he did because I wanted him to win. But Paddy Pimblett is still going to risk it. He's going to risk it for the biscuit. Paddy Pimblett has an amazing ground game. His striking's only getting better. We saw him put Bobby Green to sleep when Bobby made that. He messed up. He made a poor IQ move, shot that takedown on Pimblett. I know he didn't have a choice but to shoot that takedown, but Michael Chandler's the type to do that, man. He's going to make a move like that. And Paddy Pimblett has fought 3 38-year-old, 3 or 4 38-year-old fighters in a row. I think it's 3 38-year-old fighters in a row or above the age of 35, and he dominates all of them, man. Beat Tony Ferguson, beat Bobby Green. He's about to beat Michael Chandler. He's going to be in the top 10. He's going to be ranked number 7 come Tuesday morning, boys. So I'm going Paddy Pimblett by submission, round 2. Let's move on to the main event, though. Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez. Boys, I'm sorry, okay? I'm doing this so that I jinx it, okay? Diego Lopez, round 2 TKO. It's happening. Or I'm jinxing it. I'm focusing. I'm jinxing it, all right? But I do believe Diego Lopez is going to get this fight done, man. I'm sorry. Alexander Volkanovski looks like the best shape of his life. He looks so fit, looks super clean, looks mentally there. He's good. He's really good, but he has no way to win this fight unless he drags it to a decision. If he gets into the decision, okay, guaranteed I'm thinking Volk's going to win this fight if he gets into a decision. I don't see Diego Lopez winning by decision. But he has to go 5 rounds with a dude that can clip him once and finish him, or even on the ground. I know Volkanovski's submission defense is amazing, but even on the ground, Diego Lopez his movement on the ground almost subbed Evloev with a knee bar in his first fight in the UFC. Almost subbed Dan Ige. He almost subbed, like a lot of these dudes, he's almost subbed, or he's put in really dangerous spots, and then he KOs them, right? So we saw how he fought against Yusuf. What's his name? Yeah, Yusuf. The uppercut. That uppercut in the clinch, that's something Volk does a lot, tie clinch. If he tie clinches with Diego Lopez, which he loves to do, Diego Lopez is going to be loving that. He's going to be throwing those uppercuts every day of the week. He's going to be throwing check hooks, left hook, right hook, uppercut, left hook, right hook. Like the combinations that I can just see Diego Lopez unloading on Volkanovski. It would be shocking if Volk survived those and his chin holds up. I know he fought Islam and then Topuria. Those are the best guys in the world. Those are top. That's number one pound for pound and number two pound for pound, right? These are like the best guys in the world. But Alexander Volkanovski, year layoff, back-to-back knockout losses, fighting a dude that can end you with one shot. I don't see Volkanovski winning this fight. I'm going Diego Lopez by round 2 TKO. Round 1, they're going to feel each other out. I think Lopez is going to start landing a couple shots, going to start gauging the distance. Volk's going to have to close a lot of distance as well, which is something he struggles with. Of course, he's got the best jab in the UFC. By far, I think Volk's got one of the best jabs in the UFC. He needs to utilize that jab, utilize his cardio. He needs to weaponize his cardio, his jab, his leg kicks for 25 minutes perfectly. It needs to be perfect. Now, I know Volk can do this. He can do this. He did it against Max, but in every single one of his fights, in every single one of Volk's fights, he's been clipped. Whether he's gone down or he's been clipped, he's gone dropped and then got back up to his feet, he's been clipped in every single fight. You look at every single one of his fights, he's been hit with a shot where he's been stumbled or he's been like, oh shit, right? So if he gets hit with that by Diego Lopez after his year layoff and his back-to-back knockouts, he's going to sleep. I'm sorry, boys. He's going to sleep. Those uppercuts, those check hooks that Diego Lopez throws are nasty. He's massive for the division. He's dangerous everywhere. I think Diego Lopez gets it done and new. Unfortunately. But if Volk wins, we're back. If Volk wins, we're back. And I'm knocking on wood. I'm praying that Volk does win. I'm obviously rooting for Volk, but I'm being realistic with my pick. My pick is Diego Lopez, round 2 TKO. I hope you boys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments down below who you guys got in this main event, because it's a really tough pick. But I'm hyped for UFC 314. I hope you guys are hyped for UFC 314, and I will catch you boys in the next video. See you.